This is Texas News Now, sponsored by Germania Insurance.
In Austin, I'm Mark Mullins. New public polling is offering some insight into Texas's competitive U.S. Senate race. It shows Republican Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton and Democratic U.S. Representative Jasmine Crockett leading their respective Senate primary races. The new polling was conducted late last month by the University of Houston's Hobby School of Public Affairs. It surveyed 550 likely Democrat and Republican primary voters. Reporter Daniel Perot has a closer look at the new polling and the state of the race as Texans get ready to start voting.
For candidates and campaigns, it's the home stretch before early voting.
You only have about a week left to make sure that you can reach all of those voters.
A new survey of likely primary voters by the University of Houston shows Attorney General Ken Paxton leading Senator John Cornyn 38-31, with Wesley Hunt in a distant third place at 17%. 12% are not decided.
It's a virtual certainty that we're going to have a runoff in the Republican U.S. Senate primary. The only question is, who are the two people in that runoff?
According to the survey, Paxton has an advantage in a runoff. More than half of Republican primary voters say an endorsement by President Trump would make them more likely to support a candidate. So far, he's stayed out of the race.
He could, if he wanted to, boost Hunt into that runoff and particularly into the Senate.
On the other side, 47% of likely Democratic primary voters say they support Jasmine Crockett over James Tallarico. Crockett led Tallarico in most key demographic groups, except for white voters and those who have an advanced degree.
Overwhelming majority of African-American voters intend to vote for her, and they intend to turn out to vote in larger numbers than normal for a Democratic primary.
In the survey, Crockett has a 7-point lead among Latino voters overall and a 20-point lead among Latino women, while Tallarico has a 6-point lead among Latino men.
We're in the Democratic primary, where 60% are women and 40% are men.
In a head-to-head general election matchup, both Paxton and Cornyn polled ahead of Crockett by 2 points. Paxton does slightly better than Cornyn against Tallarico. Hunt has the largest margin, leading Tallarico by 4 points.
Right now, at least in the U.S. Senate race, it's a coin flip.
For Republicans, the gloves are off with attack ads. Experts say that has given voters overall more negative opinions on the three candidates.
And while Wesley Hunt is significantly behind Cornyn, the Paxton campaign wants to make sure that he doesn't somehow catch up.
And that was Daniel Perot reporting. A reminder for Williamson County residents, if you plan to vote on Election Day, you will not be able to go to a county-wide polling center. In the past, voters have been allowed to cast ballots at any polling place they want, but starting on March 3rd, on Election Day, you must cast your ballot at the precinct polling location that you're assigned to. County election leaders claim the shift is meant to protect voter privacy and keep their process secure. If you're unsure of which location to go to, check the county's website or your voter information card. Critics of Austin's new convention center say they'll decide in the next day or two whether to appeal after losing a lawsuit. Austin United PAC claimed the city clerk wrongly rejected petition signatures to put the property's future on the May ballot. But over the weekend, a judge ruled the city acted lawfully, and that petition drive came up about 500 signatures short of the number needed to let voters decide. Here's reporter Adam Bennett.
On Monday, momentum moved forward at the site of Austin's old convention center, days after a lawsuit targeting its replacement hit a roadblock from a judge's ruling.
Of course, we were disappointed by that and surprised.
Bill Bunch is a lawyer for the plaintiffs, Austin United PAC. He believes signatures of people living in unincorporated areas near city limits, known as ETJs, should have been counted in their ballot petition. Bunch says any appeal they file would focus on that.
We're looking at a 2 or 3 week window to figure out if there would be a May election ordered.
And if they don't hear from the courts in that time frame,
we can do a slower appellate process to force this one onto the November ballot. And then we can also do a second petition, which we're looking at.
On Monday, Mayor Kirk Watson's team directed me to a statement by the mayor emailed to KVUE over the weekend about the judge's decision. It said, quote, "This is a good win for Austinites. Our city clerk handled this matter professionally, and I appreciate that professionalism. Plus, the expansion of our convention center is important to our city's future. It serves as a focal point of our important and thriving tourism industry. I'm pleased that we are looking at a bright future. A future that for now is still being hammered out as planned.
Adam Bennett with that report. Dollars from hotel occupancy taxes and the convention center are funding this project. The city says it'll cost $1.6 billion. Opponents argue the long-term cost is around $5.6 billion if you factor in 30 years of interest payments and operating losses. A factory in Bastrop is being sued by Attorney General Ken Paxton for allegedly harming residents by emitting putrid odors and other chemicals. The factory belongs to Darling Ingredients. It turns poultry byproducts into pet and livestock food. The factory is located off of Highway 95 just north of Bastrop. According to the Attorney General's lawsuit, the factory has caused serious and long-standing odor problems for nearby communities. The lawsuit also alleges the facility is emitting excessive hydrogen sulfide and failing to properly maintain equipment or meet permit requirements. Darling could face significant civil penalties and be ordered to end their alleged violations of Texas air quality laws as part of this lawsuit. We reached out to Darling Ingredients for comment, and they confirmed they have received the lawsuit. Their statement reads in part, quote, "We are committed to being a good neighbor and protecting the health and safety of our employees and the communities where we operate," end quote. San Marcos is expanding its regional airport as part of a move that could bring more jobs and traffic to the fast-growing city. The U.S. General Service Administration just sold the city more than 170 acres of former government land next to the airport for just less than $1.7 million. City leaders say the long-term goal is to support larger aircraft operations and attract new businesses to create local jobs. The purchase also preserves an airport buffer zone established in 2023 that's meant to prevent incompatible development like housing that could create noise and safety issues. A closure of the I-35 northbound frontage road around Lady Bird Lake that was supposed to start Monday has been delayed by a week. TxDOT plans to close the area for construction next Monday instead. The impacted area stretches from north of Riverside Drive to about Holly Street, and once the detours begin, they'll stay in place for at least the next 3 years. TxDOT recently released this video demonstrating the new traffic pattern, which includes a bypass lane or a U-turn depending on where you're going. Pedestrians will also have to follow detours to use the West Side walking bridge. And those are the headlines in Austin. I'm Mark Mullins.
I'm Chris Lawrence with your top stories in North Texas. Tarrant County officials are weighing a new deal to expand the Sheriff's Department contract with ICE. As Scoop Jefferson reports, supporters are touting the benefits, while a community survey shows some concern.
Tarrant County commissioners will vote on expanding the sheriff's contract with Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Commissioner Elisa Simmons opposed.
Tarrant County has its own problems.
Despite an already ICE sheriff jail agreement in place, Simmons is against allowing deputies to investigate, arrest, and search for undocumented immigrants.
Everybody knows we have our own issues. The jail escapees last week, not one but two. The 76 deaths in custody.
The contract expansion uses a $100,000 federal grant to pay deputies $64.64 an hour for assisting ICE. Simmons conducted a public survey saying 98% of more than 2,600 people responding said no to expanding the Sheriff ICE contract. But
we should support law enforcement.
Survey participant Mike Venez is among the 135 people who responded yes.
A consciousness that I have about helping law enforcement, whether it be on the local or the state or the federal level.
This partnership is going to be a net benefit for all of us in Tarrant County.
Commissioner Matt Krause also supports the expansion, sharing there are benefits to having deputies alongside of ICE.
Our deputies do know our county, do know our area better than maybe somebody coming in from the outside.
Although Simmons wants other commissioners to all vote against expanding the sheriff's ICE contract,
that's not what's going to happen.
She hopes the survey will at least influence Tuesday's vote. In Tarrant County, I'm Scoop Jefferson.
American Airlines stock dropped about 2% Monday as the flight attendants union issued a vote of no confidence for CEO Robert Isom. Kevin Reese breaks down what sparked that decision and what comes next.
Plainly put, I mean, this is about our careers, our livelihoods. It's our health insurance. It's our pay, how we feed our families. So when we see our company not performing well, we all get concerned.
Eric Harris is the treasurer of the Association of Professional Flight Attendants, which is so concerned that they issued a unanimous vote of no confidence in American CEO Robert Isom to address what they call a relentless downward spiral under his leadership.
We see our competitors blazing ahead of us with innovation and product offerings, whether it's premium seats or customer experience. We're the largest carrier. We should be leading that as well. We should be leading it.
And I think this is a very serious vote. It needs to be viewed as serious.
Travel industry analyst Henry Hartfelt says American Airlines unions recognize the company has fallen behind United, Delta, and Southwest in some metrics, including on-time reliability and premium travel.
It used to set the pace that other airlines measured themselves by. Both as an analyst and as an American Airlines passenger, I'd like to see American return to that level of reliability and quality.
The pilots union voiced its displeasure too, writing that our airline is on an underperforming path and has failed to define an identity or a strategy to correct course. For a response, American directed WFAA to comments made by the airline CEO during its investor conference call on January 27th.
I'm excited about the opportunities that lie ahead for American as we begin to see the benefits of our work in 2026. We expect continued improvement in premium unit revenue, supported by growing demand and increased premium product availability.
A product the airline's major unions say is in desperate need of change. In Dallas, I'm Kevin Reese.
The Dallas PD just unveiled a special badge to coincide with the World Cup. Tiffany Liu shows us how the department is preparing for this summer.
A stage this big doesn't come around often.
Once in a lifetime, especially for officers.
It's been 32 years since the FIFA World Cup was in North Texas, and this week marks the 4-month countdown from the 2026 event.
FIFA logo's in it, and then there's a soccer ball on top. It's kind of cool.
Senior Corporal Joe Mino says you may see Dallas police officers wearing this now.
We got this badge made and approved so they would have something to commemorate their service.
More than a third of the force already purchased their once-in-a-career badge that benefits the Assist the Officer Foundation.
We did one for the Super Bowl for July 7th.
It's a special accessory.
And then this one.
As the world enters Dallas.
A lot of people, this is their first time in the state, so you want to be a good ambassador for the city.
Between June 11th and July 19th, 100,000 visitors a day are expected in the DFW area. Just at Fair Park in Dallas, the city is planning for 35,000 per day at FanFest.
You're gonna see the police officers out and about, big police presence during FIFA.
Police sources tell WFAA majority of officers will be working during the World Cup on regular duty and FIFA duty, and DPD will receive state and federal funding for the cost of security.
We're excited for FIFA to come.
Big sporting events aren't new to Dallas, but FIFA brings a historic moment for soccer fans.
Yeah, it doesn't happen very often.
As well as the officers tasked with protecting them. In Dallas, I'm Tiffany Liu.
Well, the Seattle Seahawks are Super Bowl champs, but they're not the only big winners from Sunday night's game. Several athletes from North Texas were profiled, and they told Brittany Costello it was a dream come true.
On football's biggest night,
Byron Murphy, Texas.
Next to the game's greatest players,
Growing up,
2 North Texas high school football teams got the attention of the entire nation.
As soon as it happened, I was just getting a bunch of phone calls, texts from everybody.
DeSoto and South Lake Carroll athletes were featured in the Super Bowl intro.
I think it goes back to the legacy that the impact that we leave on Texas.
The 2 legendary football teams meeting again.
We walk into the building and they're like, oh, by the way, there's one more team here. And I think all 4 of us were like, no, don't do it.
Putting last season's loss to now state champs DeSoto behind them, he says the 8 athletes got the rare opportunity to come together.
And we all have the utmost respect for each other because we're like the best programs in the state.
To celebrate many years of hard work with a little pampering, a lot of pizza, and millions of eyes.
Even right now when I think about it, it doesn't even sound real. You can't imagine 135 million people.
For their friends, classmates, teachers, and family to see.
I saw me and my teammates on the screen. I was turned. I was in the car blasting music on the way back home, ready to watch the game.
To use as inspiration, hoping it's a sign of what's to come.
It's just a blessing. I mean, 100 million people you said seen me.
it's a blessing, and hopefully 100 more million people will see me again once I play in the Super Bowl.
They are more determined than ever.
You see someone who grew up in and around the same communities you did, make it that far, gives you the hope, like, I can do the same thing they did.
In DFW, I'm Brittany Costello.
And hey, as good as those teams are, they've definitely got a shot. And those are your headlines from North Texas.
For insurance you can trust, help is just a handshake away. Find your local agent at germaniainsurance.com.
Well, hey there, Texas. You know, today we are expecting some cloud cover and there's going to be rain for some of Texas. Not everyone's going to get that rain. And I think a lot of what we're going to see today, it is going to be pretty light. Now, tomorrow, I think most of Texas does look dry. The only exception would be the far coast of Texas. And then we're also looking at Thursday, where we're expecting widespread sunshine and temperatures will be very warm during that time. So you're going to notice a difference in temperatures quite a bit in some spots, at least over the next few days. Today in the Panhandle, we're talking around Amarillo. Temperatures will be quite cool. We've got cloudy skies, temperatures in the mid-50s, but tomorrow afternoon, we should work in a little bit more sunshine, so temperatures will be going up. Highs will top out in the mid-60s tomorrow, but then on Thursday, temperatures actually climb into the mid-70s. We're expecting a little bit more sun during that time. Now in Austin today, warmer than Amarillo, that's for sure. Temperatures make it back into the middle 70s today, and we stay dry, but overnight tonight and into your Wednesday, we are expecting at least a chance of rain. Not everyone's going to get that rain. And again, whatever we do see in Austin, I think is going to be fairly light. Temperatures still in the mid 70s, but on Thursday, temperatures climb into the low 80s and we do look dry during that time. Now across North Texas at DFW specifically today, we've got lots of clouds around, temperatures in the mid 70s. Overnight tonight, there will be at least a low coverage of a few showers. That moves out of here early tomorrow morning, and then for the rest of your Wednesday, temperatures will be cooler, lots of sun, but highs only in the upper 60s. But we recover very quickly on Thursday with lots of sunshine. Temperatures make it back into the upper 70s. Now let's go down to Houston. Partly to mostly cloudy today. That's not going to stop temperatures from climbing to well above normal. Highs make it into the upper 70s this afternoon. And then tomorrow, high around 80, and we're looking at about 80 degrees again on Thursday. Now in San Antonio, pretty much the same, mid-70s today, a lot of clouds. And then tomorrow, we're also expecting dry conditions, more sunshine. Temperatures don't move a whole lot, but by the time we actually get into Thursday, temperatures should be able to make it into the low 80s. Around Waco today, some clouds. There's going to be a very low chance of rain. Dry tomorrow, temperatures a little bit cooler, but not by a whole lot. We're only dropping a few degrees, and then we rebound back to around 80 degrees by the time we get into Thursday. So we're going to see quite a difference in temperatures over the next couple of days, at least in some spots. But, you know, generally it does look fairly warm, temperatures staying above normal. And here's going to be that chance of rain. So this is at noon today, and we've got the rain just out in western parts of Texas. It will slowly be making its way to the east, but it's also going to fall apart in a lot of places as it moves into central parts of Texas. You can see North Texas, that chance overall, the coverage is going to stay fairly low. Once we get into Tuesday night to Wednesday morning, it generally moves east of I-35. And it still looks fairly scattered at best. So again, a lot of locations will end up staying dry, but by the time we get to Wednesday morning, there could be a few showers along the coast, and then that's it. Most of the day Wednesday looks dry. It looks very sunny with temperatures just maybe a couple of degrees cooler than what we've got going on today. But on Thursday, we're expecting plenty of sunshine, at least in North Texas, West Texas. The southern half of Texas could see a little bit more cloud cover, but that's it. It does certainly look dry. So for tonight, temperatures will be dropping down to around 50 degrees in North Texas. We're talking the mid to upper 50s in South Texas, but significantly colder out in the Panhandle. Once we get into tomorrow, we're expecting dry conditions during the day. Temperatures will be a little bit cooler in some spots. Only the upper 60s around North Texas, low 70s in Austin, and around 80 degrees Wednesday afternoon in Corpus Christi. Looking at that air quality index, we're going to keep it in that moderate category across North Texas, but a lot of locations are going to be in that good category. Now let's take a look at West Texas. The forecast for El Paso today, there is going to be that chance of rain. Temperatures still make it to about 70 degrees, but tomorrow afternoon, more sunshine, temperatures going up. Mid-70s in the forecast. A little bit more cloud cover moves in for your Thursday, but temperatures still make it into the mid-70s, so not a big temperature difference there. Around Midland, upper 60s today with that chance of rain. Dry tomorrow. Temperatures going down maybe a degree or two, but then we make it back into the upper 70s by Thursday. Looking at Central Texas, Fredericksburg, nice cloudy today, but still fairly warm. A high of about 70 degrees. A little bit more sun tomorrow. Temperatures going up a couple of degrees, and then we're going to shoot up to about 80 degrees by the time we get into your Thursday. South Texas looking very warm. The chance of rain, not seeing a whole lot of that. San Antonio, certainly a lot of cloud cover today, a lot more sunshine tomorrow. Temperatures, though, they're going to stay very warm in the upper 70s, and we should climb into the low 80s as we get into your Thursday. North Texas, we talked about that chance of rain once we get into late tonight. So during the day today, lots of clouds. During the day tomorrow, lots of sunshine, but temperatures going down a little bit. By Thursday, we're still going to see the sun, and this time temperatures actually go up. East Texas, around Houston today, mostly cloudy. I think we're going to be mostly cloudy tomorrow, but temperatures will still be very warm. Tyler, Texas, we do have that chance of rain by the time we get into Wednesday, but that chance, the overall coverage looks to stay fairly low. And then looking at the valley around McAllen, we're looking at partly cloudy skies today, but very warm. Temperatures in the mid 80s. We stay in the upper 80s over the next couple of days. And then Mission, Texas, we've got upper 80s today, upper 80s tomorrow, and upper 80s again on Thursday.
For insurance you can trust, help is just a handshake away. Find your local agent at yourmediainsurance.com.
Let's take a look at today's headlines across Houston. Hello, I'm Lynn Cannon. People living in a master plan community in Cypress say they have one big toll problem. Several residents in the Bridgeland neighborhood tell us the Grand Parkway is their only route in and out. KHOU is learning there is a solution in sight here. Troy Kless has the latest.
The developer Highland Hughes Holdings told me in a statement this afternoon that they are planning an alternative route that is under construction and is expected to be open in the spring, possibly providing relief for area residents. People reached out to KHOU expressing concerns over the costly tolls. Some people who live in Bridgeland, like Dennis Basaldua, estimate over $100 a month could be spent on tolls. The Bridgeland developer says it has heard community concerns and is working with local leaders on a solution. It's unclear what those plans are or if people like Basaldua could get relief. They say it's an added cost of living.
And it's not just me, my girlfriend works in town, you know, and when I have to go out of town, I take a lift, a towable lift with me. So if I bring it in here, I'm paying for 3 axles to get out.
KHOU has asked the Harris County Department of Engineering for a master plan of the community to learn what the roadway plans are for this development, with others like it coming soon. We tried reaching out to area lawmakers, including State Senator Lois Kolkhorst, for comment, but she was unavailable due to travel. But we'll keep you updated on the project as we learn more. In Cypress, Troy Kless, KHOU 11 News.
Loved ones are remembering 13-year-old Riley DeArmas, who police say was stabbed to death by a 10-year-old boy. Those close to her gathering to pay tribute over the weekend. Orko Manna spoke with Riley's mother about the push for justice.
The family of Riley DeArmas gathered here tonight not only to remember her, but to also share what they say happened before she was stabbed and killed. As the sun set tonight in Northwest Houston, close to 100 loved ones came together to honor the life of 13-year-old Riley DeArmas.
Every single day, every time I pray, I'll be missing you.
A sea of balloons, many purple, Riley's favorite color, and warm embraces filling the crowd. Family members identifying Riley as the girl who was stabbed to death at an apartment complex on Grove Lane around 8 p.m. Wednesday.
Joyful, free-spirited, happy, a dancer, a singer.
Riley's mother describing her daughter as a kind and gentle soul who would have turned 14 next month.
Instead of me celebrating her 14th birthday, I'm celebrating and trying to bury my daughter right now. These balloons could have been for her 14th birthday, not her death.
Houston police say there was a fight between two groups of people Wednesday, including the girl, before the stabbing. A 10-year-old boy turned himself in, telling officers he stabbed the girl, and according to investigators, he claims he did it in self-defense.
It was no self-defense. My daughter was attacked.
The family adds that they want to set the record straight about Riley.
She was not a violent person. She would never harm anyone intentionally. The narrative that's going around right now about my daughter, that was not Riley.
The 10-year-old boy was detained at the scene but released pending further investigation. Under Texas law, 10 years old is the minimum age of criminal responsibility, meaning charges could be considered and any charging decision will be made by prosecutors. Meanwhile, Riley's loved ones are still processing their pain.
I would never get a chance to hug her, to tell her I love her, and her life just was cut so short.
As they release balloons in her honor, all they want is justice.
Did not deserve it. She did not deserve to die.
The Harris County District Attorney's Office says they'll make a charging decision once Houston police complete their investigation. I called HPD for an update on this case, but I'm still waiting to hear back. Reporting from Northwest Houston, Orko Manna, KHOU 11 News.
Orko, thank you. Houston police are looking for a suspect after a shooting outside a restaurant over the weekend wounded a customer caught in the crossfire. Happened Saturday night at the Chachos off the North Freeway. Employees say a customer got upset after being refused service. That customer left, then started shooting at the restaurant. Michelle Choi with the latest.
Cell phone video shared with KHOU 11 shows the chaos that followed just after 9 Saturday night. Employees inside the restaurant watching in fear as police and paramedics rushed in to help a gunshot victim.
Upon arrival, officers learned that an irate customer from inside of the restaurant was refused service, and so he went out to his vehicle and took out his firearm and started shooting in the direction of the restaurant.
Employees say the suspect was part of a group of 3, 2 women and 1 man who had just been inside this Chachos on the North Freeway. The restaurant's manager tells us the group became upset while trying to order the restaurant's monster nachos, priced at $25.99, saying it was too expensive. After the cashier refused service, the man threatened to go get a gun. Employees say moments later, 8 bullets came flying back into the restaurant, leaving everyone terrified.
The bullet went through right here.
Employees say that bullet tore through the wall, hitting a female customer walking toward the restroom.
She sustained 1 gunshot wound and was transported by HFD to a local area hospital.
Cell phone video captures the moment paramedics wheeled her out, passing shattered glass still lining the restaurant. The person who shared these video clips asked to remain anonymous. By daylight, the damage still visible, 3 windows now taped up. The restaurant manager tells us surveillance cameras were not working at the time. And as for the suspect, police say he had already taken off.
The suspect was already gone upon arrival when officers arrived. And if anyone has any information regarding the incident, we urge them to contact Crime Stoppers or the HPD Major Assaults Division.
In North Houston, Michelle Choi, KHOU 11 News.
A shooter remains on the run after a confrontation outside a Washington Avenue club. 1 man was hit and is in critical condition. That shooting, by the way, coming hours after the city's nightclub task force was making rounds. Matt Doherty reports.
The task force was created in response to all of the violence happening here outside the clubs along the Washington corridor. But one neighbor we spoke with says the violence has only gotten worse.
rag is, I don't know why they didn't clean it up, but yes, that rag is.
Robert Barnes lives 2 blocks from where a man was shot outside of a Washington Avenue nightclub early this morning.
They had that physical altercation. At some point shortly thereafter, the unknown male pulled out a gun and then shot at the victim and struck him.
The victim is in critical condition. The shooter has not been caught.
The Midtown clubs are...
The mayor's office posted this video last night. It shows Mayor John Whitmire as he followed the nightclub task force he created in response to nuisances and violence happening at the city's venues when the sun goes down.
This is a neighbor's property.
Robert Jones says he has not seen it help. Just last week, a bullet went through his next-door neighbor's home.
Last week, I was in my home just here the next block down, and I hear gunfire, and I also hear a person shouting and screaming, sort of possibly literally for their life, and a car was chasing after them and shooting at them as they were running down the street, and then they made a left past the church here, the Messiah Church.
Right down the middle of the street.
Literally right down the middle of the street.
Robert says the police presence along his part of the Washington corridor has been reduced from what he's seen. He's lived here for 13 years and would rather sell at a loss than stay for 1 more year.
I literally was looking at a house this afternoon.
Really?
I kid you not. Kid you not. Yeah. Yeah, and he's trying to sell. Yeah.
You just can't take it anymore.
Can't take it anymore. We'll take a bath on the homes because they're damaging our, they've ruined our resale value.
On Washington Avenue, I'm Matt Doherty, KHOU 11 News.
That is a wrap of your Houston headlines. I'm Lynn Cannon.
I'm Leslie Adamy in Corpus Christi, and here's a look at some of what's happening here in South Texas. After more than 3 decades of questions, there's new movement tonight in a long-running missing child case. Investigators from the Texas Attorney General's Cold Case and Missing Persons Unit were on the ground Monday at the childhood home of Elisa Roberson, who disappeared at just 13 years old back in 1989. Using new technology never before applied in this case, authorities are searching the property for possible clues as Elisa's family hopes that this latest effort could finally bring some answers.
Discussions between our attorney and the police department and the AG's office, we've been able to come to a legal agreement, and this is part of the agreement, is that our childhood home be searched and that they finish the search that was started in 2016. And so we're very happy about this. This is what we've wanted for 10 years.
So that was Elisa's sister, Ruby Hall. On that day in 1989, Elisa was supposed to meet a friend at the elementary school in Aransas Pass the day she went missing, but she never made it. The investigation has gone on for decades. The family says that APPD has agreed to release case files once the search ends, pending the discovery of any evidence. And Corpus Christi City Council members are tasked this week with potentially signing off on a $28 million deal to buy the water rights to a piece of property along the Nueces River. Now, this would be the third site along the river, which would produce water from an underground aquifer that is then piped directly into the river. The Corpus Christi city manager says that new well field needs to be able to produce between 10 to 20 million gallons of water a day for it just to make sense. But the ultimate decision will be up to City Council. Our Michael Gibson explains.
This is the 2,400 acres of property that the city is looking to buy the water rights to. It sits along Highway 624 near the intersection with 666.
Currently, we're doing some preliminary hydrogeologic studies to better identify locations for wells on the property. And we're having our hydrogeologists look at potential yield.
That property not only has a lot of room to drill new wells, it already has 6 in place. City Manager Peter Zanoni says those have been drilled on the site by the property owners. He says each well produces up to 1 million gallons a day. He says if council approves the deal, then the new well field would need to produce 10 to 20 million gallons of water a day to help offset the loss of our 2 western reservoirs.
We need to take into consideration the people that live out there, the farmers, the ranchers, and that whole community. They depend on groundwater. What studies has the city done? I've not seen anything that tells them they can go and do that.
City Councilman Roland Barrera shares those concerns, but says it's not a long-term solution.
This is just a temporary solution. We're applying for bed and banks permits. We're looking at, we're actually looking to diversify our the sources that we have. So I think this one has a lot more certainty than any other projects that we have that would be able to provide consistent water until we get to desalination.
Now, this piece of property does sit right next to the western well field that the city now owns. Work on that well field is now full steam ahead as water pipes are being placed into the ground and will run all the way to the Nueces River.
That was Michael Gibson reporting. And that is a quick look at some of what's happening here in South Texas.
I'm Lindsay Lippman. Here are your headlines from Central Texas. A Lampasas man is desperately trying to bring his wife and 2-year-old daughter to Texas from Nigeria, but says he's getting nowhere. In spite of reaching out to senators and congressmen, the family is caught in a visa freeze affecting 75 countries. Our Juliana Jackson spoke with the father about his fight to reunite his family.
For Mark Shepard, every day without his family is another day of worry.
Missed a year and a half of her life already.
His 2-year-old daughter is a U.S. citizen and is 1,000 miles away in Nigeria with her mother. Shepard met and married his wife 3 years ago. When he came home for work, he had to leave her behind. He's been fighting ever since to bring her home.
My daughter needs medical care in the U.S. She deserves to go to school in the U.S.
Shepard's immigration petition was approved last year, but last month the Trump administration paused all immigrant visa processing for 75 countries, including Nigeria. The State Department says there's concerns about public benefits reliance, and Nigeria is facing additional restrictions over information sharing deficiencies and high visa overstay rates.
You know, they tell us they want an emergency, and we tell them that we have an emergency.
His daughter has already had malaria once, a potentially deadly disease. Now she has mysterious red spots on her legs that need medical care. Care Shepard says isn't available in Nigeria.
I don't want her to get malaria again, because if she does, she could die.
Shepard says the consulate in Nigeria is ready to interview his wife, but hasn't received the case file from the State Department. The State Department says emergency waivers are available.
It's just, I don't know, I think it's just bureaucratic, that's all.
For now, Shepard is stuck. He can't safely travel to Nigeria because of the security situation, and he can't bring his daughter home without her mother.
I can't just go and pick my daughter up and bring her here away from her mom. It's not going to work like that at 2 years old.
Well, Senator Ted Cruz told us we don't discuss, quote, ongoing cases due to privacy issues. Senator Cruz's office continues to coordinate with the administration and other Texas members on cases of Texans overseas. Meantime, a Killeen Justice of the Peace is making an impact, not just with his gavel, but with his story of second chances. His journey started on the wrong path, but he worked hard to change his future so he could inspire the next generation. Our Sydney Walker shares his story with us in honor of Black History Month.
All right, let's get y'all married.
When he's not officiating weddings,
6th year on the bench.
Judge Gregory Johnson is running small claims court or evictions court, or even working as the on-call coroner. To him, it's a dream come true.
You know, when I was 15, I made the decision. I said, we are going to become an attorney.
Whether he was dreaming of practicing it or facing its consequences.
I actually found myself on the other side of the law. Mixed in with the wrong crowd, making poor decisions.
As a kid in Waco, he turned his life around, serving in the military, owning businesses, and joining city council.
Still had the passion to be in the courtroom, to have an impact.
He found his way to the courtroom, just not the way he originally planned.
When this opportunity came to serve as Justice of the Peace, I said, that's my opportunity to be in the courtroom.
The same passion, but a different goal.
I'm not here to punish you. I'm here to hold you accountable.
Seeing people for who they are, as someone once in their shoes.
And I would tell you, even as a judge, I wake up every day as a Black man.
He's faced setbacks as a young Black judge.
I know how it feels to be discriminated against, to lose opportunities, to be treated as a second-class citizen.
He says it makes him a better leader.
Those experiences, it gives me an opportunity to see people, not just the offense that you've been accused of.
And an example for the next generation.
I make it a point when I go to schools to read to young people, I put my robe on, I carry my gavel, because I want them to know that they can be here too.
He's living his dream.
It is normal for me to have 40 or 50 cases in a day, but I'm still going to take time to spend, even if it's just 30 minutes, reading to young people. Because we have to get back. All right.
Johnson said he also makes it a point to take off the robe, leave the bench, and spend time in the community. He said he wants to understand and connect with the people he serves. And those are your headlines from Central Texas.
For insurance you can trust, help is just a handshake away. Find your local agent at yourmediainsurance.com.
I'm Isis Romero, and this is the news in San Antonio. A teenage girl was hit and killed by a trash truck early Monday morning in the medical center. The medical examiner has identified the girl as 15-year-old Ziba Shaddad. Northside ISD confirmed she was a student at Marshall High School. Police say the girl's body was found about an hour after the crash. Sue Kalberg has the latest.
Police tell us it was still dark when the calls started coming in around 6 a.m. about a teenage girl who had been found dead in the parking lot of this complex, with her body showing signs of obvious trauma. At first, police believed it was a case of hit and run, but after reviewing video of the area, they say they realized it was a tragic and deadly accident. They say there's video evidence of the girl being run over by a commercial garbage collection truck not too far from the apartment she shared with her family. Witnesses say it has been a thorough investigation.
You see the cops back there taking pictures of the garbage truck, going under the truck with the cameras, taking photos. Them just pointing in certain areas, I guess, where the impact was.
Meantime, a 14-year-old accused of having a gun at Harlan High School has been released from juvenile detention while he awaits his next court date. The teen has been in custody since his arrest on January 29th. The defense attorney told the judge there is evidence on the teen's phone that will prove another boy actually brought the gun to school. But so far, they've been unable to access the data. The judge had a stern warning for the teen to choose his friends carefully.
I think you know better.
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. And all these kids don't have your best interest at heart. I need you to understand that.
Yes, sir.
I need for you to figure something out and know who your true friends are.
Yes, sir.
Because that little dude that gave you that gun is not one of them.
Yes, sir.
Understood?
Yes, sir.
The judge allowed the teen to go home with a strict curfew and an order to stay away from weapons. Northside ISD confirms a second student has faced disciplinary action connected to this incident. Well, it may be dirty work, but it's a San Antonio tradition. The stock show and rodeo is back, and the dirt is already flying. Simone Simpson has the story.
When the dirt moves in, you know it's rodeo time. The San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo is gearing up, one truckload at a time. It's dirty work for all involved.
We're pumped, we're getting ready, we're laying down the floor, literally.
More than 2,100 tons of soil will be hauled into the Frost Bank Center, continuing a long-standing rodeo tradition. Organizers say the dirt is a carefully crafted blend of sand and other materials designed to optimize performance for the animals and rodeo athletes.
Really great entertainer lineup. As always, the best rodeo athletes in the world.
Who will be performing on dirt that's nearly 40 years old? The rodeo is still using the same dirt it purchased in 1988 near Charlotte, Texas. By reusing and cleaning the soil each year, the organization says it saves about $25,000 annually. The largest goal for the Stock Show and Rodeo? Scholarships.
The past couple of years, we've been able to commit about $12 million in giving. So this includes scholarships, this includes auction money, so the goal, of course, is to, at minimum, match it, but hopefully, go over that this year.
And that's the news in San Antonio.
Hi, I'm Brennan Gurley, and here's what's making headlines across East Texas. Friends and family said their final goodbyes to an 11-year-old boy after he lost his life in a tragic ATV accident a week ago. Last Friday, funeral arrangements were held for Easton Roper. CBS 19's Robert De La Garza shares how the entire Troop community is honoring him.
Photos and bouquets filled the First Baptist Church in Mixon, representing the final goodbye. For Easton Roper.
You know, he had such a big heart. Like Preston said, he loved everybody.
Teachers shared handwritten messages of his positivity and the joy he brought into every classroom.
Easton came to class full of happiness, a smile almost always on his face.
If you were around him, you could feel his positivity, his happiness, and everything. You could feel it. You could feel it. It was like radiant.
Loved ones called him a gentle giant who lived life to the fullest, leaving a lasting impact on everyone he met.
I'm grateful. I want everybody to know that I really appreciate everything and that I love them all so much.
Always ready to lend a helping hand, with a knack for building, turning every project like this one into something special.
This little old raggedy chair over here, I told him a long time ago I won't get rid of it.
But not long after, Easton returned with a rebuilt chair, all on his own.
So I said, you know what, he wants that old raggedy chair, I'm gonna put it over here so I can sit down and talk to him in his own chair that he made.
Now it sits at Mixon Cemetery near Easton's grave, with his family's names etched into the wood. He now rests at the cemetery overlooking the Roper's home, just steps away.
My baby's right here at home, and that makes a world of difference to me.
Tears of grief became tears of memories, memories like this chair that will last in their hearts for a lifetime. For CBS 19, I'm Robert De La Garza.
Valentine's Day is just days away, and if you're trying to snag dinner reservations, you might want to act fast or get creative. CBS 19's Nayeli Carrillo has the story.
From white tablecloths to candlelit corners, Valentine's Day is one of the busiest days of the year for restaurants.
This is going to be one of the biggest ones that we have had, if not the biggest day that we'll do this year.
At Three Palms in Tyler, reservations started rolling in just days after the new year. And now Valentine's Day dinner is completely booked with nearly 600 reservations.
I've had people for at least a couple of weeks reaching out and asking if we had anything, and I'm like, nope, sorry, man, you got to get ahead.
Lance, the owner of Heritage East in Tyler, says they're also fully booked. He says the economic impact, especially for businesses struggling through the downtown construction, is enormous.
So a lot of those slower nights, it definitely affects our tip staff, our servers, our sommelier. Anytime we can get in a holiday like this that really boosts their income, it definitely goes right back out into the community.
According to Open Table, 52% of Americans plan to dine out this Valentine's Day, but the way people celebrate is changing.
Sharing time with the person that you love. And that could be anybody. We had reservations coming in for, families and your Galentines. It's just anybody that you want to spend time with.
But no matter who's at the table, experts say the holiday rush comes with a major economic boost.
You're looking at about $6 billion, so it's really significant. For some restaurants, it can be as much as 10% of their actual profits for the year.
And for servers working through the holiday, generosity can go a long way.
I would encourage people to be generous because we say that they're having to work on a holiday, so remember that when you're tipping. But they invest in the community, they live in the communities, but also the restaurant owners. When people are looking for support for their local kids' teams and things, it's the local businesses who are the ones that are supporting the communities.
Spreading the love this Valentine's Day.
And that's a wrap for East Texas Headlines. I'm Brennan Gurley.
Here are your headlines from Southeast Texas. I'm Mark Armstrong. Beaumont police, they've identified the man who was found dead in a wrecked car Friday night with gunshot wounds as 31-year-old Rudolph Lasainte. Now, they've not released yet what led up to the shooting, but we do know that it happened just before 9 Friday night. Police say they found Lasainte in the crashed car in the 500 block of Woodrow Avenue. They say they're now looking for this guy, 18-year-old Charles Seegers, in connection to this murder. So if you know where he is, contact Beaumont Police or Crime Stoppers at 833-TIPS. A 12 News investigation has found more than 200 sex offenders in Beaumont are living just steps from area schools. Neighboring cities, they have strict residency restrictions to keep them back, but in Beaumont, there are none. 12 News reporter Cameron Burchett, she breaks it all down.
But when it's your neighborhood, how do you tell your child this is not a safe place to play?
Sex offender residency restriction ordinances, known as SOROs, are designed to limit where registered sex offenders can live or loiter. They typically bar them from areas within 1,000 feet of child safety zones, such as schools and playgrounds. But in Beaumont, Mayor Roy West says the city has no such ordinance.
In the past, we've just been following the state of Texas rules and laws regarding that.
Without a local SORO, registered sex offenders in Beaumont are governed solely by Texas state law, according to Britt Featherston with the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. And those laws only restrict residency while an offender is on parole or probation.
In 2025, looking at statistics, we have prosecuted over 40 individuals who failed to comply properly with the sex offender registration program. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's way too many, right?
According to the Texas Department of Public Safety, once supervision ends, those proximity limits disappear, leaving no legal barrier preventing offenders from living or loitering near schools, playgrounds, or daycare centers.
We're studying it right now to see what cities have these ordinances and, how they found them to be effective.
Neighboring cities like Port Arthur, Port Neches, Groves, Nederland, Vidor, and Lumberton have adopted local ordinances.
I can't imagine any reason why we would put the rights of sex offenders over the rights of children.
Bonnie Spots is with the Crisis Center of Southeast Texas and the Jefferson County Sexual Assault Response Team, or SART. In its 2025 biennial report, SART urges Beaumont to enact such ordinances, warning that stricter rules in surrounding cities may be pushing registered sex offenders, many with child victims, into Beaumont neighborhoods. A 12 News review of the state's online sex offender registry found nearly 900 registered offenders listing addresses within Beaumont city limits.
It's unbelievable to me.
Some addresses are within walking distance of Beaumont ISD schools.
I think parents will be irate to think, wow, my kid walks to school and there's 6 sex offenders on that path. It makes me very uncomfortable.
The highest numbers of registered offenders are within a 1-mile radius of these campuses. Pathways Learning Center, 109 offenders. King Collegiate Academy, 70 offenders. Smith Middle School, 58 offenders. And Fletcher Elementary, 67 offenders. At Fletcher Elementary, one offender listed his address on the state's website as a vacant parking lot directly across the street from the school. Records show he was convicted in 2008 of possession of child sexual abuse material.
And the court is going to be more, let's say, not as lenient with those individuals.
An ordinance that provides that kind of protection is certainly something that we need to explore.
If no ordinance is put in place by the city, Bonnie says she'll have to take matters into her own hands.
We are going to address it and ask why, and I'm going to write the ordinance and ask that they submit it to the council, and I'll talk to council members and everything else, and if they don't do it, I will do it.
She hopes city leaders will be proactive and create the ordinance.
Perhaps they'll be the heroes that stand up for children and say, enough, we're going to protect children.
It's Cameron Burchett reporting. If you want to look up your neighborhood, we have a link to the DPS Sex Offender Registry on our website, 12newsnow.com. Well, starting today, or Monday through Friday, the city of Beaumont is hosting a community charrette. That's a hands-on planning week to update the city's comprehensive plan for the next 20 years. Monday's kickoff meeting, that's going to run from 5 to 7 p.m. at the Downtown Events Center, and it features an interactive community session, and all week long you can join in-depth meetings, workshops, and presentations where the public can help shape the future of Beaumont. So if you can't attend in person, for all the updates on their website, planbeaumont.com. And those were the headlines from Southeast Texas.
Texas News Now is sponsored by Germania Insurance.
For insurance you can trust, help is just a handshake away. Find your local agent at germaniainsurance.com.